Hey guys, so we're going to do a reading, of course. That's what we come here for. And this one, so we're going to do a little political read kind of thing. A little bit of to tell the truth, who's telling the truth kind of thing here. Okay, I thought this would be a fun one. Though I think this will be a fun one. I'm very curious what the Spirit has to say. That's really the reason why half the time is I want to sit here and kind of tune in and see what the Spirit tells me. Is this person telling the truth? Is this, real? What's going on? What's going to happen? That kind of thing. I love stuff like this. I live for this. And so one of the fun things is I can, put the video on and you guys can see what I get and enjoy. But the news here, and it's been going on for about a week now, is Madison Cawthorn. He is the representative from North Carolina. Okay. And he's the youngest. He's the youngest, congressman out there, 26 years old. This guy is younger than my son. Okay, and his age is kind of starting to show. Okay, he's, please, if you're 26 or under, do not be offended with what I have to say. But, there's still each age, decade, certain levels of maturity. It just happened. He's a young person, okay? And he kind of, in the podcast that everybody's talking about, he had his little backwards cap, t-shirt, tattoos are showing. He's just kind of being, maybe, kind of chill in the podcast, right? And apparently he made some statements, and I watched it a few times, because I'm trying, is he serious or is he just, and he had made allegations among his party, okay, other Republicans, that how he worded it, like a sexual related party he got invited to. Basically, he was being invited to an orgy. He did say, that out there, apparently he's been invited to a party like that before. He did say, he was talking one time, but apparently insinuating maybe some things like this happen. And that he said that also there are even people that are trying to do things for the problem with addiction in this country. And then they've snorted a kilo of cocaine in front of them, or whatever amount he said. I'm not, just let me, and I'm not making this up. I've never done any of that stuff. I, like a little bit of pot, this, that in my life, but I don't know what any of that does. Okay, physically. So if I said the wrong, but I think he did say a kilo. It was something ridiculous. Okay, so anyway, to understand a little bit about this young man, and I'm going to call him a young man. I'm going to call him out, because he's half my age, okay? Just to kind of call out and everything, is that there are things that he has done that some people have been a little outraged about. He apparently has had sexual allegations against him. Whether those be true or not, you know how that goes. But that is a concerning thing. But that doesn't seem to bother the Republicans, okay? So far. So there was also, and we know how everything is going, in this country as far as, the whole white supremacy thing and then the Black Lives Matter. We know how that, has been, issued. And so on his Instagram, he apparently went and visited like Germany and areas like Hitler's bunker. He took photos. And I did see those. I saw them on a screenshot or something on YouTube. And he had a post and he was just acting so in awe of this place. I mean, of all the places you want to go in vacation, and he's posting Hitler's, little hideouts and everything. And he was calling him the Fuhrer, as if he's trying to be so in awe of this person or something. It was kind of weird, right? And apparently he's taken those down off Instagram. But I did see them. Hey, you could delete it, but it ain't ever forgotten. Okay, somebody will always have the screenshots. Okay, and so that's a little concerning, for some people. That doesn't upset the Republicans, though. Oh, we don't care about that. That kind of thing. They don't care about stuff like that, okay? And, and then he was at the insurrection. He was one of the speakers up there with Trump and everybody, Rudy Giuliani and everything, calling on stuff. He's definitely an avid Trump supporter. He's made some very brutal statements, definitely, his the whole thing about the election being stolen. He has been on side with that. Okay, so a lot of things that are controversial. He said controversial things. Let's put it that way. But then, and nobody condemns him for that. Nobody says anything. No problem. But when he makes these statements, when he's on this kind of podcast, just kind of talking, and he's saying that people, out there, Republicans are having basically orgies and, doing all this cocaine and stuff like that. This has got them all flipping out. All these old men, okay, the supposedly conservative Christian old men, with the, all, values of the party, this, that, whatever, are all upset. And so anyway, let me get to, McCarthy, who is, on their one of the heads up there, has said he may take further action to condemn Cawthorn over his unacceptable remarks and all this stuff. And so McCarthy said Cawthorn conceded some of her remarks were untrue and exaggerated. So we had like kind of a sit down in it and interview with him. And so now he's trying to say, oh, he was exaggerating and things like that, so it's a lot of people are upset with this guy. They feel he's kind of trouble, but he apparently Trump likes him. Trump likes him, but he is known to exaggerate and lie about some things. Now, there were some things about he is in a wheelchair, okay, and there was an accident. And let me pull this up here. To hopefully I can find an article to pop up because I know I saw this story. So, Cawthorn accident and lies about being left for dead. Let me see if that pops up. Okay, here it is. Now, this is a year ago, so this is before he ever said anything. Madison Cawthorn was wrong about crash that paralyzed him, friend said. Okay, this is a year ago. This is before. Okay, so it wasn't like the GOP is trying to throw him under the bus yet. But Brad Ledford says he's so close with Madison Cawthorn, the country's youngest congressman, and his childhood friend. But Ledford is speaking out to correct a story Cawthorn told about the accident that paralyzed him 7 years ago. So this thing, okay, this kind of goes how the guy is. Okay, so one of the things, and he's been, I think maybe 13 months, however long he's been on Congress. But Brad Ledford is a childhood friend, okay, and Ledford now 24 CEO, so he's a pretty successful guy. Nervous how the election would fall for his friend, but ultimately Ledford tells people he was proud. Him and I have been through so much. Not an understatement. His seesawing friendship with Cawthorn, defined as much by devotion. Trials that tested it nearly fell apart in the aftermath of a fiery wreck in 2014 when a 17-year-old Ledford was driving. So he was driving, the friend, and Cawthorn, who was the passenger, was left partially paralyzed. Okay, so he's in a wheelchair, and some of you may have seen him. And following was a years-long battle between Cawthorn and Ledford's father, insurance company, lawsuit, and all that stuff, of course. But in more recent years before running for office, Cawthorn gave a speech claiming Ledford left him to die. There it is. I told you. Ledford left him to die in the crash. A story contradicted by Ledford and accounts from Cawthorn's own family. And so apparently, he had told that tale. But what Ledford is saying, I believe he pulled him out of the car. There it is. For the first time ever, Ledford also spoke about the 2014 wreck with the Post. While issues with Cawthorn's account of the crash previously circulated, Ledford talking brought it renewed attention. The accident being a key part of his biography. And that probably And, just I'm just going to assume, because I know how a story like that can touch people's hearts, probably got him a lot of empathy from voters, being, paralyzed and young and everything and coming up, So anyway, but the story is, just to put the short, is Ledford expanded what happened immediately after the crash and how he says Cawthorn, they've repaired their bond, which I'm kind of surprised, but there may be, the guy, think about it, he probably feels still a little guilt that he was the driver of the crash, right? But the thing about it is that he's saying the driver, he didn't leave him for dead and he pulled him out of the car. Okay, is really, the story. So that's kind of a big thing, especially to kind of say about your friend and stuff like that. But apparently, the when he was driving, he started dozing off, and he veered off the road is what happened. So they must have been on a long, a long thing and so forth. And he definitely got some bad injuries and so forth. But the vehicle erupted into flames and so forth. But Ledford referred to Cawthorn by a nickname that he saw. Okay. Realized the situation was getting worse and worse. The fire was drawing nearer and nearer. Ledford said he moved forward Cawthorn. It felt an intense heat on his right arm, so he tried. I realized the flames were engulfing in the back half of the SUV. He tried to open the driver's side door to escape, but it was jammed. He tried to kick out the windshield, but it wouldn't budge. So Ledford said he reached over Cawthorn and punched out the passenger window. Okay. Climbed out, landed on the concrete, immediately turned around, unbuckled Cawthorn, with whom he pleaded to wake up. So he's, he didn't leave him for dead. Okay. While I was pulling him out by the window, a bystander came by and helped me carry him away from the car, Ledford says. So then he got some help. Ledford said he and a bystander who could not be reached by people, so they weren't able to get to, carried Cawthorn's prone body about 200 yards from the wreck. Okay, so I wanted to touch on that. That's a really big thing there. Okay, that does show that the man has lied in past. Okay, at least, it looks like it and everything, that would be kind of a big thing, right? That's your childhood friend. And then you're telling, the world basically that he left me for dead. He just abandoned, and everything, chicken shit, whatever. And this guy is saying, no, I was trying to get him out and everything. And then a bystander came and then they got, they were able to get him out. So that's a big thing. Okay, to say. So now this is the purpose of the reading. Is he telling the truth? Okay, and as part of this thing about maybe I exaggerated, is that something just McCarthy is saying upon them coming out? Okay, now I'm going to come out of this office, and we're just going to say you exaggerated a little, right? To kind of, and hope this whole thing blows over, and stuff. But, it ain't blowing over so quick because it's being talked about. It's being talked about by a lot of people and stuff that, especially GOP, like I said, they're supposed to be known as the conservative Christian party, kind of morals, values, and all that good stuff. And this guy's saying a completely different thing about what's going on, okay, in DC. So was he telling the truth? Is he really exaggerating? Or has he really seen something there? And he opened his mouth and a little soon, and everybody's like, you better stop, that kind of thing. So that's what we're going to look at. But I will give the benefit of the doubt. He is known to spin some tales. Okay. And of course, I would also be curious, if this all is a tale, why would he say something like that? What would be the motivation for lying? Okay. But, if he was left for dead, I would find it hard to be... Why would he still be friends with his childhood friend? Okay, that would be very, very strange. So that is an interesting story, though. Very interesting character. Very young. Okay. But people in DC are known to lie. But I just don't understand. Like, say if that never happened, if these things just never happened at all, why would, he say such a thing? So, let's get down to business. I got to figure out how to title my YouTube without it not being demonetized or deleted. I think I'm okay. But I want to make sure you guys know what this video is about and everybody else. Almost there. Saying stuff like this. Okay. All right. Cawthorn, were you telling the truth? Are they trying to shut you up now? What's going on? Okay, so the very first card is victory. Okay, so let me kind of tune in. This means a whole lot of things. Now, I know one of the big things, okay, we know about the Republican Party is they definitely want, a victory going on, especially with the, an upcoming election. A lot of them are wanting Trump. And we know Cawthorn wants Trump. He's a Trump supporter all the way and stuff. And he's definitely been one to chime in about a new Republican Party. Okay, that's kind of his thing. But of course, one of the things is, I feel the Republicans took a lot of loss, obviously, with Biden in office and, states turning blue and all kinds of stuff. So their eyes are, they want to get the House, they want to get the Senate, and they want to get the presidency. They've got their eyes on a victory, and they don't want anything to mess that up. So they're willing to do whatever it takes and everything to get that victory. This is all they care about, okay, is getting control, getting power, okay? We know that. So of course, we know that they certainly don't want one of their own going around saying things that would hurt perception of them, right? Of course. And the Princess of Swords, that can be about news or information, as the Page of Swords can be in the tarot, coming out. And this, kind of news, him going out and speaking and saying these things has really upset them. They feel they don't like anything making them look. It's kind of funny. There's a lot of stuff that makes them look bad, but they think this makes them look bad. Okay? You don't think an insurrection makes you look bad, okay? All right, and all these weird things, these white supremacy things going on and all, whatever it may be, but you think this makes you look bad. Okay, that's funny. Okay, that's funny and everything. Okay, so let's see what's going on. Let's see, we've got some interesting cards here popping up. I've got the Empress and the Ace of Cups and everything, so let me kind of tune in. Now, I'm kind of being drifted. One of the things that just happened recently, as we know, just happened this week, is Judge Katani has become a justice. That has been approved. Okay, I feel that represents her. So this is also, this really bothers them. Okay, there's a lot of love for her and a lot of support for her. I feel she did a fantastic job in the hearings and so forth. So this is already affecting them. This really bothers them. Okay, that she made it and so forth. And they've already got that kind of lumen over there that this, this happened. Okay, but I actually feel I'm being drawn. This makes me feel her. And just, recently getting appointed to, the Supreme Court. This is a major win-win. And the love that people have for her is really big. And let's go ahead and look at that. What is that card? We got the Moon. So, there's a lot of uncertainty that's going on right now with this party. A lot of confusion about everything. They want to go in a certain direction, but they're very uncertain their future, and they're really in so many ways. Like, I want you to think of like the older Republicans, in so many ways, that old school way, is dying, and it's becoming a new thing and stuff. And some are a little worried about it. But yeah, this is just, as it just hit the news, this is, a big blow to them, is her getting appointed and everything. So I do feel the Empress and the Ace of Cups really represents her, that this is impacted. I see we've got that failure card, and that they failed to stop that from happening. Okay, so this is already bothering them. This actually, I feel that this kind of coming up in here, really has impacted the party a lot. Maybe more than people realize how upsetting this is to them. Okay, so they've already got that going on. And then this guy does this, right? Okay, so let's kind of look at that and everything, what we've got. Yeah, see, they've got that worry card there. They're really worried about this, that these statements were said by him and so forth. And notice this is an interesting card. This is the Eight of Pentacles, but this card in Thoth is also called Prudence. Okay, this is called Prudence. So let me get you the definition of prudence. It is Virgo, and Virgo is known for that. So I'm going to give you the definition for anybody kind of confused what that can mean. So let me give you that. Definition of prudence.
Here's the definition of prudence.
The quality of being prudent, cautiousness. We need to exercise prudence in such important matters. Okay. And, it also, the biblical definition, prudence is discernment and action in conformity to reality. Okay, very interesting. Deliberative, judicial, and decisive means by which charity manifests itself. So we can be a very, positive thing and so forth. Careful, prudent decisions and things like that. Really well thought out and everything, discerning. Okay, so one of the things also I want to give with that, with some of that energy, is I feel that with this, all this is happening, try to be very careful and cautious in every move they make, because they want that victory and so forth. There's a decisiveness there and so forth. And let's go ahead. I want to look at that. Yep, we got the World. And this is one of the things here. They are going, no matter what, the Republican Party is going into a new cycle. We could clearly see that. Now, there are a lot that, how do I explain it? Let me come up here for a little bit. This is how I kind of feel, just tuning in spirit-wise. There are certain ones that are on board as far as Trump, that's what they want. Okay, but there's also a certain, I feel a large chunk, especially if I'm tuning into more of the older GOP, the conservative Christian, they're more, uptight. And that secretly, this is what I believe. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pull this to kind of prove my point, right? Let spirit talk. I believe secretly there are some of the, especially the older ones, who really don't like Trump. Okay, I'm going to tell you that right now. I know you feel like everybody does, but they feel that they have to support him. Okay, that they're kind of compromising. Okay, certain things, and there you go. There is an expectation. Okay, right now, with Republicans to be supportive of that, but the reason is because of the public. Trump has a huge base of supporters. Okay, so there are those within who are very kind of quiet about it, and really they don't want to necessarily follow Trump, okay? But there is an expectation to do, okay? And the reason why is because of the voters, okay? And so, and stuff like that. I've also got the card Message of Concern. Okay, so one of the things about that, okay, we've got is a lot of what happened, okay, with what was said in this podcast. and everything. This got everybody kind of talking, a message, and everything like that. And then we've got the card main male. So we're kind of focusing on, the main male would be this young man, Madison Cawthorn. Okay, he's kind of instigating some, and he is part of the newer Republican. Okay, but I do feel some of the older ones that may even be actual Christians and stuff are not necessarily fans of Trump, but there is an expectation to support because they see what happens if you speak out and don't support. Okay, Liz Cheney is a good example of that and what happened when she would not support him. Okay, which she normally before that was she was pretty well respected until she spoke out, and look what they did to her, right? So there, I do feel there are a lot of old men congressmen who are afraid to go against that. Okay, that's how I feel. And so, because everything is on, the White House. Okay, we've got the House card here, getting back the White House and everything. But, there are those that are nervous about what happens, what about the transformation, the going into the new cycle, okay, is, and so forth. I'd even kind of see him, Cawthorn, one of the younger ones, does cause them concern and so forth. And let me go ahead and look at here and so forth. Yeah, and I definitely feel that is a big thing. That is a cause of concern. But I really do feel in my heart, not all are on board, but they feel kind of helpless to the situation and so forth. So let's get that. I kind of went on that. Let's get to the nitty gritty. But there is, when he spoke out, I feel there is a lot of worry and so forth, like, wow, now you're talking about us. We're barely holding on by a thread here. We're, going into this new cycle. We're going, remember the moon card, into kind of this real unknown territory. Of the party, there are those who want to keep it the old way, and then there's those who want to change it into something different. So they've already got their own within has a lot of problems and stuff like that. But yeah, they're very disappointed about what he said, and they're very disappointed with him and stuff. And are they going to cancel him? Are they going to cancel him? But I feel they're trying to get him to shut his mouth and everything, and recant that. So let's go ahead and look at that. Now, in his position, I wanted to focus on Cawthorn. What is his position here? He got the Fool card. So, definitely, in this case, they're trying to kind of put him off, kind of as a fool. Is kind of how I feel. They're kind of trying to put him off as kind of a fool and so forth, and put that in there. Let's look in the environment, what we've got here. But that's interesting. But when I go to the environment, kind of energy, I do get the Love card. Okay, and I get the Queen of Cups card. So that's a very interesting thing. And I feel one of the things about that, tune in here. I want to pull one more. I know I'm going clarifier crazy and I don't mean to. Yeah, his card actually comes out the Prince of Swords. Okay, the Prince of Swords, to be able to speak and stuff and everything. I would look more at the connection here. As this is kind of big here. What I kind of feel with the Love card and like the Queen of Cups and the kind of energy there, there is a lot, that the GOP and everything, the Republicans, they're trying to do so much. Okay, what my mind is going to is in the love is obviously one of the big things they're doing right now is certain things with relationships. Okay, they're definitely doing a lot as far as, the love between, people who get married, male, female. Okay, right? But then we also have issues with gay marriage and things like that. There's been a lot about transgender and everything like that. They've got a real kind of stern way of looking at things. They're trying to set that. And I also look at that Queen of Cups, certain things that they're kind of trying to do as far as women's roles and everything. It's like there's so much of their view. It's like they're trying to, dominate these areas, about, marriage and relationships and women's roles. Okay, and things like that, trying to return to, to these certain things. And they're trying to be all about that, be all about Christian and everything like that. There's this big thing, that they're trying to do. And there are those that support that. Obviously, we know there's a lot of Christians that, that's what they want. That's what they want, to be doing and so forth, is have a party that stands for those values. Those are, and the reason why I believe the Queen of Cups, as for women's roles, also even women's rights to their body, okay, is a big thing. And I feel that's one of the reasons the Queen of Cups is kind of popping up in there. And so this is their area, they're really all involved in, and stuff like that. And the reason why is because there's a whole lot of conservative Christians that want them to be, or maybe they wouldn't even care, except that, there are people that want them to be involved in all kinds of laws and everything like that. And so when he kind of comes in here, is this Prince of Swords energy, okay, popping up, and he just kind of speaks this stuff. They get real upset because it's like we're trying to portray a certain image of morals, values, and things like that, Christian, conservative, whatever, and you're saying that we're doing cocaine and having orgies and stuff like that. So here we go. Let's go. Keep going. That's kind of a big thing to unpack there, but that's what Spirit is saying. There's so much with that. So he's kind of at a crossroads here. Does he continue to go on and just kind of speak what he wants to and do the things, and so forth, and go the path he is, or, is this pressure, say with McCarthy and other, of the old man conservatives and stuff, going to shut him up for a while? And Knight of Swords. Nice Swords, the cruelty card. So what I kind of feel that what's in for him is I feel, as he kind of threw some, he didn't name names, okay, but he was kind of throwing the party under the bus in a various way by saying things. They may start the cruelty card, start throwing him under the bus and so forth. I think he's a little bit worried about it with the Knight of Swords energy, can be worried. Lots of changes coming up, but there's a lot of changes with the party itself and so forth. And we've got the works card popping up in here, which has to do really with teamwork and so forth. And it's like you're either, for us or against us, right? You're either a part of this team, whatever, but you can't be talking bad about us. That's kind of their philosophy and everything. But getting to it, so far looking at it, the Hangman, they're ready to just sacrifice him, and everything like that. They're, the big thing. Tuning into this, though, let's go ahead. I'm going to pull from again. Hold on. Was he just trying to make a good podcast? I haven't got an answer to the question quite yet. But I know the GOP always is trying to cover itself. Yep, so we've got the man on the horse who delivers news. He definitely delivered news. And I've got in here Very interesting. I've got the snake. Okay. So one of the things about that, the snake also for me can represent temptation and things like that. That definitely can represent temptation. I kind of feel part of it. This is what I kind of feel. I do feel he's definitely seen some stuff. Okay. And I feel that that's very interesting. So what I'm kind of feeling here is I feel there's definitely some things that McCarthy said, in that meeting about what he said. I actually do feel that Cawthorn has seen some stuff out there. Okay. I do feel he kind of, I will say this, his story, when we get to the part about there are people that are fighting against addiction, but then I see them sorting a kilo of cocaine, I actually feel that story is fabricated. Okay, I feel he has been to places where he's seen cocaine use, but I do not believe that he told the exact truth that a particular person in Washington, D.C. that is fighting to stop addiction was doing drugs. I don't believe that. I do believe he has seen people, been places and, caught people, and they do cocaine. I do believe that. But I do not believe that story. Okay? So in that sense, when he kind of wove that tale, I felt, I don't know why, I'm not sure why he did it exactly, if he just wants attention or just wants to slander, the party in some way. But I do feel that was not true. Okay, I do feel that. Okay, so, but I do feel that when it comes to being invited to some kind of sexual kind of thing or something, that happened. Okay. And he didn't name names or anything like that. But it was very interesting because in the first Lenormand, with this deck here, I did pull the ship. And in this one, I do pull the ship too, and it's called Distance Horizons. What I feel that Spirit is trying to say is that in the GOP, and McCarthy kind of talked about, I feel they are going to start really, really trying to distance themselves from him. Okay, and not give him the support. I feel this is one of the things that kind of came in there. Is like, if you want to continue your career, okay, you need our support, right? But if we stop supporting you, it's going to be a lot harder to get, say, reelected, right? We're going to start distancing ourselves and everything like that. And then comes despair. Okay, you're going to be out. You're going to be out of here. Okay, so this is definitely something that I feel was put up, that was put in that meeting. That's not necessarily, he's not saying that in the news. Okay, he definitely says, I condemn what you're saying and this, that, he's been, McCarthy's been open about that. Oh yeah, I had a talk with him. You can't just go around saying shit like this. But I do agree, I will give that part of the story, I feel like he's, and obviously DC, there's got to be some that are probably, doing stuff. They are. Okay, as far as drug use and stuff like that. This is a problem that it touches on everything and stuff. Of course it is. But I do not, I believe he made up that story as far as somebody who's working in addiction was that he was over there and he watched somebody doing this. That he's full of shit. Okay, that he's full of it. So that's kind of funny and stuff. So I will agree that is hokey doke and stuff. But I do believe there was a point that he may have been invited to a little something. Okay, but he also at the same time, he tried the way he worded it in this podcast. And you guys can, if you go on YouTube, you can easily find it. Just plug it in and you'll find his interview. I mean, he was kind of making it sound like there's a whole bunch of people, in DC doing these, raunchy orgies and stuff. And that's just, I highly doubt that. I highly doubt. I'm sure there's stuff going wrong. Don't get me wrong. I feel more so what is realistic, okay, that goes on in DC is a lot of those people having affairs. Okay, and it is kind of funny because there was one of the YouTubes I watched that apparently after he came out with this podcast and it got all over the news, that a bunch of the congressmen's wives, the male congressmen's wives, were confronting them with that. So what's going on? What is this true? Have you ever been to a party? Have you walked in with it? Apparently a bunch of the congressmen's wives were asking him about this, and so that probably riled some up, like, okay, look, my wife is getting on me about this stuff, okay? My wife, okay? What's going on? Matter of fact, let's even look at that. Hold on one second. That is part of the message of concern. Remember, I pulled that card. It's kind of funny. Yeah, and I feel that's a big one. We've got the mature man, and I feel that represents McCarthy and stuff. Not that he's the greatest, but he represents this mature man and things like that. And I'm drawing the occupation card, and I feel, and notice there's a woman there. I feel like some of the wives are like, okay, this is your job, but let's talk about it. Okay, so yeah, I do believe that is true, that it riled up a few wives there, that were a little concerned, about what's going on and everything. Yes, definitely. So I do feel some definitely, I will agree that exaggeration is a huge thing. So yeah, he lied. He lied. He lied about this stuff. And I know a lot of people are like, ooh, and stuff. And maybe even Democrats would be like, kind of try to, use that ammo against the GOP. But what, it really wouldn't be fair, because the story is highly exaggerated. But the real thing, like I said, what the real thing going on. And I feel, Republicans and Democrats are both as guilty. Okay, we know what happened with Clinton, right? With Monica Lewinsky. Okay, so this is not just the Republicans here, but affairs, and so definitely, a bunch of them are having affairs and everything like that. Definitely a bunch of them. And stuff. So let's just throw, even though I've got a few minutes, where is this going to lead him? Is he going to be able to get elected again? We'll just do a quickie one. I'm not, because I've already done a lot on this. But it is kind of a fun story. I'd love to be uncover the truth here. But yeah, it's kind of deeper. Spirit wanted to talk about deeper issues, and a lot of that, there are, some of the older Republicans, that have been around for a long time. Think about it. They've been around for decades, some of them. are deep, deep down, okay, are worried. They don't want it to go this new Republican way, this new Trump way. They see the worry card. I told you. They don't want it to go this way. They feel helpless and powerless, but they're afraid to speak out. The thing is, if many of them did, maybe, it could be stopped, right? Maybe. But they're more worried about, their own career. If they spoke out, everybody turning on them. Okay? They're worried about everybody turning on them and them being canceled. Okay? Because of the direction that it's going and everything like that. So, there's a lot of concern. And he's kind of symbolic of, the direction it's going because he's a Trump supporter. Okay, he wants it to go in that direction. But, some people are cowards. Some people are cowards. So, is he going to be able to keep his career? Or are they going to kick him out? Because he's been threatened, okay, that they will distance themselves. I'm about to run out of power. I better plug it in a minute. Okay, let's put it down. We're just going to pull a few cards here. Is his career going to be okay, or is it going in the dumps? What's going on? There's that Fool card again. That's his card. It's at the crossroads here. It could go either way. It really depends how he goes this point forward. Wow, the Empress and the Ace of Cups are popping up in here again. That's crazy. I'm telling you, the GOP is really concerned about her getting on there. Okay, this is a big thing. They're already contending with that, and then they got that. They're pissed off about this, okay? They're pissed off about that. But of course, remember we talked about the Queen of Cups? She's popping up again. Certain roles for women, Republicans, they want certain things. Definitely want charge over women and stuff. But I've got that gain card, but how's his career? I got the Eight of Cups there. They may actually even force him to walk away. That is the walking away card. Ace of Swords. I feel if he, if he doesn't, tone it down and everything like that, which I have a feel with that Ace of Swords sitting next to there, I feel more is to come, actually. I feel more is to come about certain things he says, does, and so forth. That he, regardless, he's just, the way he is, he's going to say what he wants to say, and stuff like that. I do feel, though, I feel it's going to be a long time before he tries to throw anything under the bus. But I do have that walking away card. There, he may actually, at a certain point later, be forced, to walk away from everything and stuff through his own actions. And they may force him that he has to do it and so forth because of certain pressure. Because I got the Ace of Swords, that I feel that he may just continue saying what he wants to say here. That's the thing there. But I do have that gain card that is popping up in there, which is very interesting because I do feel while there are, Republicans that are pissed off at him right now, he has gained some popularity for his own self because some people like his style. Some people like that. He has kind of gained some popularity in that sense. So he's still, remember, one of the things people like about Trump is he says what he wants, right? Okay, so that's one of the things that the party is kind of going into and everything like that. But I do feel he got the message. I do feel he got the message and everything and stuff. So, looking at that, he is listening. He is listening at the moment. But yeah, I do feel he is going to say more. I feel it's just something that it's hard for him to not be able to speak what he wants to speak and say what he wants to say. So they could actually try to force him to walk away. I have a feeling it's not going to stop him. I feel there's a lot of admiration of Trump and everything, and how Trump says what he wants to say. So it'll be very interesting. It'll be very interesting what kind of comes. But I actually feel with that gain card, which is funny, even though on one end, okay, some of the GOP is pissed at him, there are other people that still support him. As far as the people, the voters, and this and that, that they're supportive of him. Because one of the things about that is he supports Trump. That's one of it. Okay, we'll see what happens.